here. Today I'm going to be going over Dr. Tim's Fishless cycle. I have never done it before. I did it for the first time on my new water box tank, and to my surprise, it actually went great. I did all my research, and I went read a ton about it. And first of all is that you have to wait 24 hours after you put your tank together, especially if you're using live sand, and go and test your ammonia to make sure that your live sand is not already releasing ammonia, and also your testing. Make sure that you have your test kits. I use the API test kits, and I also tested every day at the same time, and I dosed what I needed to dose at the same time. So the first thing on day one, I removed the filter socks and I make sure that the skimmer was off. You definitely want to make sure that at least 48 hours after you start this, your skimmer and filter socks are off. And then I also turn off my return pump to let the bacteria precipitate, and make sure that you shake that bottle very, very well, and also that you get the bottle that is specifically for your tank. Have different bottles for like 30-gallon tanks, 50-gallon tanks, and so on. And then when you go and put your beneficial bacteria, you want and only, do know that it gets cloudy. It's completely fine. Just let it precipitate to go, especially on the sand. And then make sure you have something to measure your ammonia. Make sure that you go and use the right amount of ammonia so you can get 2 ppm of ammonia. And then here we go, day 2. So day 2 is just testing day, and then as you can see, the cloudiness from putting the one and only is all gone. And also I do make sure that my lights are off during the whole cycle to avoid any type of algae during my cycle due to the lights are on. Also, you don't need the lights on. There's nothing really that needs light on the tank. Alright, so day 2, testing day, pH, ammonia, and nitrite. So let's see, pH was 8, and then my ammonia was 2, which it goes well with me dosing ammonia the day before. And then my nitrite is 0.25, which surprises me because this means that the cycle is already happening, it's starting. So there I got testing done, and then I check my nitrates just for fun to see, and it is 0. What this means is that ammonia is being converted into nitrite, but not quite into nitrates. So let's do day 3. So lights off. I only turn them on for the video, and also checking to see if there is any type of diatoms or anything happening on the tank, or if the water is cloudy, but nope. And still no filter socks or skimmer. And then day 3 is ammonia dosing day, and first, before dosing the ammonia, I want to make sure that my current ammonia levels are less than 5 ppm, and they're only 1. If they're more than 5 ppm, I do not need to dose ammonia, but because they were only 1, I'm dosing the ammonia. And now I'm just going to do some testing. You don't need to do it today, but I just wanted to check. My pH is 7.8, my nitrite is now 0.50, and my nitrate is actually 5. So that means that there is already the bacteria converting that ammonia to the lesser, which is the nitrite. So I was really shocked that by day 3 I'm already seeing nitrites. So day 4, checking, and I can see that there is a little bit, if you see on the rock, there is a little bit of browning, almost like the diatom that you get on your rocks. So I did put the filter socks back, and I'm turning on my skimmer, and then I'm also going to be testing. So pH, ammonia, and nitrite. So let's see, my pH was 7.8, and then my ammonia is 4, and it's like right there. It's not quite 5, but it's 4, so it's pretty high. And my nitrite is 1, and then my nitrate, it is 10. So again, really surprised, and I'm already, seeing nitrates on day 4. So, but again, my ammonia is pretty high. So let's see day 5. So on day 5, it is another testing day. So I again checking the rock, and as you can see, the rock is doing pretty good. The tank is pretty, crystal clear, and I do see a little bit of that brown, almost like diatom like on my rocks already on day 5. So pH is 8, and then my ammonia is 4 still, so it hasn't really changed. And then my nitrite is 1, which it keeps increasing, and then my nitrates are now 20. So there is happening, and I was so surprised of. It's no surprise, it's just really excited on how to see day by day how things are progressing. So now on day 6, we are doing now, we're almost a week into this, and I check on the rocks again every day, and the sand looks pretty good. Nothing really has changed. And then day 6 is ammonia dosing, but again, I want to make sure that my ammonia is not more than 5 ppm, because if it's higher, I do not need to dose. Because what I read is that if you dose and you overdose ammonia, then everything stalls. To my surprise, it went overnight from 4 to 2. So now that it's 2, I'm dosing my ammonia, and I'm also doing testing just for fun. Again, day 6 you don't need to test, but I just wanted to see how everything is. pH is 7.8, nitrite is 1, and then my nitrates keep increasing at 40 by now. So I definitely thinking on the back of my head, if these nitrates keep increasing, I definitely got to do a big water change after this cycle is over. So day 7 testing day, checking out the rock, checking out the sand, and as you can see, there is that little almost diatom look on the rocks, but everything is looking great. Let's test day 7. So day 7, let's see, my pH is 7.8, and let's see, my nitrite, my ammonia is 4, and my nitrite is 2. So my nitrate is 40, so my ammonia is definitely high up there at 4, which was the same as day 5, but I did dose that 2 ppm. So the tank did still consume that 2 ppm ammonia from 4 to 6 to now down to 4. All right, so day 8. So doing good. The rock looks pretty much the same, sand looks the same. I don't see really any type of really big of a diatom bloom. So day 8 is another testing day, and let's see how now we're looking. So my pH is 7.8, and then my ammonia is 2, which is great, and then my nitrite is 2 as well, and my nitrate is 160. Oh my goodness, definitely going to need to do a big water change, but glad to see that ammonia dropping, that nitrite being pretty high, and then my nitrates, because that means that it is working and this cycle is happening. So day 9. So day 9, you're supposed to be adding already your fish, your first fish, and as you guys can see, the tank looks pretty good. I do have that little nice browning into the rock, and I say nice just because I feel like things are happening. Moving on to day 9, which is adding fish day. But first, I wanted to test to make sure that all my parameters were safe for my fish. So my pH is 8, my ammonia is 1, and my nitrite is 1, and my nitrates are 160, which I bet they're higher. So the thing is that I will not be adding fish because, again, my nitrates are pretty high. My nitrites are also high, and even my ammonia is high. So what I did is I waited out, because again, this was at the beginning of day 9, and for what I read was that during day 9 your parameters will decrease to safe levels for your inhabitants, your fish. So what I did is I wanted to wait it out, and I wanted to make sure that my tank was fully cycled and have proof that my tank is fully cycled. So first I waited for day 10, and then I did some testing. It's testing day 10. So let's see, tank looks pretty good, and the same pretty clear water. Rock looks good, sand looks good. So for day 10, my parameters were my pH was 8, and then I was so happy to see that my ammonia was 0.25 and my nitrite was 0.50, and then my nitrates were 160, and I bet that was way more than 160, but that's as much as my testing will test to 160. So I went on day 10. It was actually a pretty busy day. So I went and started testing on day 10 every 4 to 5 hours. And then around 8:30 p.m. on day 10, my ammonia and my nitrite dropped to 0. So that means that my tank is fully cycled. Yay, the tank is cycle. I'm so excited. But before I added any fish or any inhabitants or anything, I really wanted to make sure that this tank was indeed fully cycled. I dosed 2 ppm of ammonia, and if the tank can actually convert that 2 ppm of ammonia into nitrites and into nitrates and give me a reading of 0 ammonia and 0 nitrites in 24 hours, that means the tank is fully cycled. That means that the tank can convert those 2 ppm to nitrates, which means that you can add fish with no problem. And I was so pleased to see that next day my tank was indeed cycled and I was able to convert that ammonia into nitrates. And then I did a big water change. I actually did 2 big water changes, 2 50% water changes to drop those nitrates down because I didn't want it to add any type of inhabitants with my nitrates so high. So I did drop them down to 20 to 40 ppm, and then every day I did around 15% water changes to continue lowering those nitrates. And overall, it was a really good experience. I have never cycled a tank in such a short time, 10 days, and that's why I also wanted to prove that the tank could convert those 2 ppm of ammonia overnight. And again, really good products, pretty straightforward information. I normally do the bucket cycling, or what I call bucket cycling, which is I put all the rock that I want to use or the aquascape that I already done and put it on a bucket and ghost feed it and let it cycle for a month or 2 months on a bucket, and then I transfer it. Of course, this really works for nano tanks, but when we're talking about a big tank like my water box 100.3 gallons, is something that you will have to have a lot of space to have this sort of aquascape, sitting there for a month or two cycling. So I really wanted to try something new and something different and cycle your tank pretty fast, but also making sure that it's not going to crash on you. So that's why I did, again, that 2 ppm trial. If the tank could convert that, I could slowly start adding fish, especially if you don't have any type of live rock or any filter media from another established tank. If you do have live rock, biomedia, filter media from an established tank, definitely add it to your newly cycled tank, and then you can definitely add more inhabitants from the get-go, which is something that I did on this tank, and I will show you guys how I did it. But overall, great experience. We'll definitely use Dr. Tim's Fishless cycle again, and I hope you guys like this video. Don't forget to subscribe and like and hit that bell button. You guys can get all the notifications, and you guys take care. Stay awesome.